Hey everyone, I'm Kim, the mom boss behind EmeryandK. Welcome to Back to Basics Bootcamp Tumbler Edition, where myself and two other amazing artists will be sharing weekly videos with all the best tips, tricks, and tumbler making secrets. Let's get to it. All right, welcome to week 6. Our theme this week is irregular cut glitters. I have shattered cut, which basically is exactly what it sounds like. It is glitter that is cut like almost like shattered glass. I'm going to be doing an ombre with Soulless, which is a brand new color from the glitter guy. And then this is Girl's Best Friend. This is a fusion as well. It is a chunky and a shattered cut fusion, and it's one of my favorites to use. So of course I'm going to show you guys. So I am using the 16-ounce Junior from Steel Magnolia. I did go ahead and sand it. I didn't paint it. You don't need to for these colors. And then I put about 10 mLs of epoxy on it. Now, Soulless is a fine cut, and so I did put a little bit less epoxy like below that ridge and a little bit more on the top. Because I don't need as much epoxy, obviously, for a fine cut as I do for a chunky and a shatter cut. So we're going to be doing an ombre. We're going to go ahead and start with Soulless, and I want this just to sprinkle over the ridge in this tumbler. So I went ahead and did a good coverage on the bottom, that very bottom rim, and now I am just sprinkling it on there. Now, as always when I do an ombre, this is just like a rough draft, if you will. I'm kind of laying out where I want my colors to be, how I want them to fall, and then we'll go back in and get a more solid coverage. So now with this Girl's Best Friend, if you saw my video, I think from week 2, where I talked about how to apply chunky glitter, the process is very much the same. I just go a little bit lighter with the shattered cut as far as coverage goes, but I always do, like I said, epoxy method, and I dump a pile on my paper and I am sprinkling it on with my fingers. So you can see here I constantly have my cup in motion. And I do this so that I don't get any weird like blobs of glitter anywhere. I want this really to just fall lightly because you don't want to have a bunch of it sticking up. If you have used these shatter cuts before and you've applied them with like Mod Podge, you know these things are like literally broken glass. So this helps them to lay perfectly flat. You'll be able to get one coat of epoxy over this and it will be smooth and ready to go. So after I have kind of gotten Girl's Best Friend where I like it, I'm going to go back in and get a nice solid coverage with Soulless, and then I will repeat the process again with that Girl's Best Friend. Again, sprinkling with my finger, constantly moving my tumbler. I have it tilted a little bit so I get that really light ombre but not too heavy. Now once I'm happy with my ombre, I will put this back on my turner to cure, and then after about 6 to 8 hours I will give this 2 good coats of clear sealer. For some reason Girl's Best Friend likes to repel epoxy, so I always do 2 coats of sealer. Look at this sparkle, you guys, this is insane. Anyway, and then I will go ahead and let my sealer dry, put on 1 coat of epoxy. It will be smooth and we will be ready to move on to our decal. For my decal today, I'm going to be using this really cool like space bottle thing. I don't know. I watched a tutorial in a Patreon that I'm part of for Procreate, and she showed you how to draw this bottle, and I was so proud of how it came out. So this will be available as a free download. It will be linked in the description box because I think it is so darn adorable, and I really thought it went with like the theme of this tumbler. So anyway, I'm using this on a water slide. You definitely do not want to do this out of vinyl. So for me, for water slide, I have a laser printer, so I don't need to seal it. It is definitely a luxury. We are going to be having a week where we talk about water slides coming up, so if you have questions about those, stay tuned for that. I just went ahead and trimmed around my water slide. I prefer to use warm water. I just let my water slide soak in there about 15-20 seconds until it starts to move around really easily on the paper. I do have water on my tumbler, and ideally I would have one of those silicone makeup brushes to smooth it out, but I could not find mine anywhere. So I ended up just using a paper towel, but it worked out fine in the end. So I'm just smoothing it down, and then I want to make sure I push out any water underneath my water slide so that you don't get any weird bubbles. Now, one big thing with water slides is you want to make sure your epoxy underneath is smooth and it is not sanded, because your water slide, the clear, it will show your sand marks underneath. So make sure that you haven't sanded. Go ahead and put your water slide on. I will let this dry for about a half an hour to an hour, and then I will put another coat of epoxy on. Then I will do a final coat of epoxy, and this tumbler will be finished. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this week helpful. If you want to learn how to use dot glitter, go ahead and check out LLB Creations channel. If you want to learn about shapes, head over to Pale Bird Designs channel. I will have them both linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.